Hi, I'm Laris Hutton, a retired military attorney, licensed North Carolina lawyer, and the CEO of Linchpin Property Management. Today we're going to discuss 7 tips every property investor should know about landlord-tenant law. An understanding of the landlord-tenant laws in North Carolina is necessary for any property owner who wishes to serve as a property manager for their own property in Fayetteville. Even though you may make the decision not to hire a property manager, you will be held to the same standards as a property manager when you manage your own property. The following is a summary of a very small fraction of some of the landlord-tenant laws in the state of North Carolina as they apply to residential rental property. Our goal is to assist you as much as possible to avoid having to show up in magistrate court in Fayetteville, having to defend yourself and your assets from a lawsuit. As always, we suggest you hire a property management company to assist you in management, but with the right information, a landlord may be able to manage her own property. The topics we will touch on briefly include limits on the amount that can be collected for a security deposit, returning security deposits, late fees, increasing rent, withholding rent, terminating tenancy, and right to enter. The body of law governing rental properties in North Carolina is dense. However, the brief summaries that I provide you with should assist you in your path towards independent research and study. Tip 1, security deposits. In North Carolina, month-to-month tenancies may be charged up to 1 1/2 months rent for the security deposit. In the Fayetteville area, it is typical to see month-to-month tenancies while service members are awaiting the arrival of household goods on temporary duty orders or waiting movement to their next permanent change of duty location. If the term is greater than 3 months, the equivalent of up to 2 months rent may be collected for a deposit. An additional non-refundable pet deposit may also be charged as long as it's reasonable. Tip 2, returning security deposits. A security deposit must be returned within 30 days after a tenant moves out. If for some reason there's damage requiring additional time, the landlord may provide an initial itemized statement at 30 days and a final statement with any remaining funds within 60 days. Tip 3, late fees. A late fee can be imposed 5 days after the lease due date, but cannot be higher than $15 or 5% of the amount that's due. An unpaid late fee cannot be deducted for next month's rent, causing a subsequent deficiency in the rent, resulting in another late fee. Tip 4, increasing rent. There is no statute in North Carolina regarding increasing the rent. The lease agreement, therefore, would have to have a provision for making future changes to the rent. If the lease is silent, then the rent cannot be changed during the lease term. Tip 5, withholding rent. North Carolina does not have a statute which allows a tenant to withhold the rent. The withholding of the rent can only occur under 2 circumstances: when the landlord consents to the withholding in writing, or when the judge or civil magistrate orders withholding by court order. This does not, however, allow a landlord to fail to comply with the terms of a lease. The landlord can be held liable in court for failure to maintain a property in accordance with the terms of the lease or housing laws. Tip 6, terminating tenancy and eviction. North Carolina General Statute 42-26 Alpha provides landlords the ability to immediately terminate a lease as long as the lease specifies that eviction will result from non-compliance or holdover tenancy. Tip 7, the right to enter. Although North Carolina law does not address a particular amount of time to meet the notice requirement, a landlord should provide a tenant with a reasonable notice of entry before being permitted inside the unit. This should also be addressed in the lease. As stated earlier, tenant law in North Carolina is a very dense subject. While we have provided you with an extremely brief summation of the law, we caution you against applying it without more research. We are always here to help, and if you have any questions about how to apply the laws to your tenants or existing tenants, reach out to us at linchpinpropertymanagement.com. We are here to help.